Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope your day is going great. Mine's been amazing, and we have a juicy video tonight. We're going to be starting off with the Overwatch Contenders trial scandal. And it's actually about something that's been going on in the Overwatch professional scene for a very long time, even way back when I was a pro player. So you guys are probably wondering, what is this scandal? Well, it's kind of weird. Let me break it down for you. And it starts with how Contenders Trials is formatted. So the way Contenders Trials is formatted is there's 8 teams, and every single team will play each other, but they only play each other once. So let's say team A and team B already played each other. These two teams could easily get together and share scrim footage of other teams in the tournament in order for these teams to be more prepared. Because what a decent amount of teams will like to do, and personally something I like to do going into tournaments, is avoid playing the team that you know you're going up against. That way they don't know how you're going to play, they don't know your comps, they don't know a whole bunch of stuff. And then if you scrim a team you already played and then they send those VODs over to that team that you have to play in a week, that team will know what you're gonna do, and you won't even know it. They're going to completely counter you, and you won't be ready for it, and they're going to be completely prepared for you. So now, knowing this, you could only imagine how hard it would be going against a team that knows everything you're going to run and do when you think they aren't going to know. Now, as I said, this has been going on for a very long time. I do not think it goes on in the Overwatch League, but once you start to get to Contenders and Contenders Trials, when you're dealing with teams that are unsigned and just super hungry to make it, they will do almost anything in order to win. So at the beginning of this video, we're going to be covering a situation that has just come to light. Apparently, some Contenders Trials teams have been leaking GGEA's scrim VODs to other teams in order to collude against them in this coming trials. And after I heard about this, I definitely did my research, I did some digging, and I got to the bottom of this, and I found everything out, guys. So we're going to cover this topic from the top to the bottom. Then after that, guys, we're going to be taking a look at some little pieces of news along with some clips from some streams. One that I find is very important to talk about, which is from Jane's stream, and somebody donated to him and asked him who he thinks the most coachable player is. So if you guys are excited to watch this video, be sure to drop a like on it, go down below, drop a comment, and if you're new around here and you enjoy daily Overwatch League content, click that red subscription box. I upload videos every single day. And now, without further ado, let's hop into it. So this whole situation happened earlier today when Lude, a player from EU Angry Titans, tweeted this out. He said this: "Is there actually a Discord server with most of the NA Trials teams in it leaking GGEA strats and VODs? Really? Thinking and weird face." And then down below, a player from Fusion University, Zachary, replied and said this: "Leading up to Contenders Season 1 LAN, Fusion University only scrimmed Korean and Chinese Contenders teams for this reason." Lude responded, "It's so sad that people think it's okay too." Zachary's response: "Nah, they don't care. If it's okay, they're just willing to do anything to win, even if it is messed up." Okay, so before I hop into my personal opinion about this whole situation, let's go ahead and dig deeper, and I'll show you guys what I found out. So of course, immediately when this was tweeted out, a whole bunch of people tweeted at me. They wanted me to figure out what was going on. I contacted a lot of people involved in the trial scene, which, to be honest, I'm familiar with almost all the players and all the teams. So I pretty much got to the bottom of this, and personally myself, I did join this Discord. Now, when I joined it, there was only like one other person in it because everybody literally abandoned it as soon as they knew that it went public and all these players were in a Discord server trying to share information about GGEA. And I can confirm there were a lot of people in this Discord because I can go through the chat logs and everything that was sent and typed in this Discord was still there. Now, I'm not going to expose that because, to be honest, guys, if I did that, I would literally be exposing multiple players from every single trials team that is not GGEA or Sky Foxes. And I didn't mention yet, which nobody publicly did, Sky Foxes was also one of the teams in this Discord that was being shared information about. Now, I understand a lot of you guys right now are going to be like, holy crap, you're saying there was multiple players from every Contenders Trials team involved in this scandal? Yeah, pretty much. There was a lot of people in here from almost every single team. Now, I can't confirm that there was literally one player for every single trials team, but there was multiple, I'd say at least 15 people involved in the server, and a lot of them were from different teams. So once I got into this Discord, obviously I did some digging, I looked to see who was in it, and again, there was a lot of different players from a lot of teams on it, and there were these text channels on the side. I took a screenshot, and I will be able to show you guys all the channel names. The title of the server was called GGEA Farm. There was a general channel, a GGEA weakness channel, a Sky Foxes weakness channel, a VOD VODs channel and a looking for team shitpost channel, as well as 2 voice channels, one general and one shit show. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the thing is, I got access to this server once everybody pretty much dumped it. All the players left it, nobody was in it besides one other person, and it was pretty much like a bot account, a Smurf account. And as I said, again, I went through all the channels, I went through all the messages, and there were a lot of players from different teams, but that VODs channel was completely empty. This can mean 2 things. Either these guys never shared VODs of GGEA or Skyfox's, which people involved in the server I asked, they said they didn't, but it is also a very real possibility that these players did share VODs and they decided to delete the VODs instead of deleting all of their messages, so that way they just didn't look like they were caught sharing VODs and only caught sharing information. Which, about the information, again, in that GGEA weakness and Skyfox's weakness channels, there were information about these teams, like their rosters, what they like to run, are they good at this comp, they're bad at this comp, they can't run this hero, they can't run that. Just a bunch of different information about the teams that could help you scout them. And here I'll share a screenshot with you guys showing that there was messages in the server, but I'm really going to block out a ton of it for multiple reasons. One, I don't want to expose the players who did it and the teams, again, because there's so many, and then also I don't want to expose any of the information that was in here, because obviously, why would I want to expose GGEA or Skyfox's any more than they've already been exposed? So it wasn't as bad as VODs, but we don't know if VODs were shared or not because they could have easily been deleted before the server was dumped, which I honestly feel like there was some VODs in the server and it was deleted, and a lot of these players are just trying to cover their tracks. Again, unfortunately, I wouldn't know who shared VODs, and there's just too many players from Trials in this server for me to expose them all. I'd be exposing almost all the teams. So I guess you can take it with a grain of salt and assume that a lot of the Trials teams were involved in this. And again, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, this is something that has been going on in the Overwatch scene for a very long time. You've seen Zachary in his Twitter post said that Philadelphia Fusion's University team had to deal with similar situations during Season 1, and they just avoided scrimming North American teams because they couldn't be trusted. And if I go all the way back to when I was a pro in like early 2017, this was a problem back then as well. You would find these teams who liked each other and they had a bunch of friends on each of them, and they would get together and they would share VODs of other teams that they didn't like. For example, Kingarna. It wasn't a very liked team because, yeah, we talked a lot of trash. I personally talked a lot of trash, and when I would talk trash to 2 teams, they would both hate me, and they would come together and be like, hey, like, we really want to beat these guys. Let's come together, let's share VODs and try to beat them together. Let's knock them out. And it's the same exact situation we're seeing in Trials now, but we're seeing it a lot more now in Contenders Trials and the Tier 3/Tier 2 scene, because there's a huge problem where so many players are so scared of the position they're in, and they're willing to do whatever they can do in order to make it in the scene because they're just starving. They're so hungry to make it. And all these players on unsigned Contenders Trials and Contenders teams who aren't getting paid a dime to play the game and aren't going to college, aren't going to school, aren't going to work, literally are putting everything into their career as a pro Overwatch player. And if they don't make it, some of them don't have backup plans. Like, this is it. So, like, resorting to sharing VODs, they feel like it is necessary to do as long as it helps them make it. And, like, yeah, I can understand their perspective and reasoning for doing it. I still don't support it, and some of you might not believe this, but as a player, I would never do this. I'm the type of person that would want to beat somebody so bad, I would want to do it fairly, just so I could talk trash and say I'm better than them. Maybe that's the type of fire we need inside of these players that are competing in Contenders, but when Path to Pro is set up like this, and all these players are starving for success, it's gonna happen. And until it's regulated by Blizzard, I don't know if it'll be stopped. That's pretty much it for this situation. It's a weird scandal, and again, it's been going on for a while. This isn't the first time in Trials. It's happened almost every season to a lot of the teams. But let's go ahead and move on now and talk about Jane and what he said on his stream. Go ahead and roll the clip.
PSY with the $4 says, best player you've ever coached. Not necessarily SR, but how receptive to agilities. Don't even have to think about that one. Agilities is the most coachable individual I've ever worked with. He's a grinder. He's very receptive to feedback. He will ask constructive questions about your feedback, and if he doesn't understand something, he'll work with you to try and find a resolution or find what you meant. So agilities is a pleasure to work with in a team environment. Absolute pleasure to work with.
So real quick, I want to talk about agilities and coachability. So starting off with agilities, obviously he's got to be coachability. If you look at some of the stuff he went through season 1, he's been through hell. The first 2 stages with LA Valiant definitely weren't pleasant. We can go all the way back to the in and out scene where Noah, the owner of the LA Valiant, took him out and pretty much told him while they were eating a burger, in the weirdest scene I've ever seen in my life, that if he doesn't perform, he is never going to start in the Overwatch League again. We're only 1 month into the inaugural season, buddy, but if you screw up, you're done forever. I mean, when you're pretty much being told those words, you have 2 options. You either shell up or you open up and you pretty much listen to every feedback and you become one of the most receptive players ever. And I believe that's exactly what Agilities did. And I'm super proud of him. And from what Jane said, that means he is seriously what every single pro Overwatch player needs to aspire to be. Being able to be coached is going to take you from the tier 2, tier 3 scene to the Overwatch League. That's what a lot of these players don't understand. The skill level when it comes to mechanics and aim from Contenders players and Overwatch League players is like none. The gap isn't that big, unless you're talking about like Carpe are the very best in the world, but your average Overwatch League player, his mechanics and aim are almost as good as a Contenders player. The Contenders players are just lacking a little bit in the mentality area and being coached. So those are things you need to work on. If you're a tier 3 or tier 2 player, focus on those. Trust me, they will help you get there. And now lastly, guys, I want to take a look at Choi Ho-bin, San Francisco Shock's flex player. This incredible Zarya play he made just blew my mind. The timing, how effortlessly he did it, and oh, just take a look.
Wait for Ryan to do.
Okay, I have a $100.
Oh wow, that was fast. Okay, so we almost have grab, and I can stand up, break into it, or no, Ryan. Everyone's here, let's go.
Our behind!
From behind, I'm in.
Got him. No speed for 5. No speed. No speed.
하나. I can. Oh,
Holy crap, sorry, you're insane. Oh my god. That's actually the nuttiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
This guy literally just pulled off one of the most epic plays I've ever seen while actually trolling and waving at his teammate. What the actual? This guy is incredible. This has got to be one of the sickest plays. Shout out to Choi Ho-bin. I can't wait to see him perform in Season 2. And that's going to be the video, guys. Be sure, drop a like on it. Leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite part is if you have any questions. Also, if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe for more daily Overwatch League content. And now, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.